Hello everyone. In the previous videos I show you how to make a very basic parametric tower here in Dynamo, and if you remember, I already posted that on YouTube. It's basic tower in Dynamo step 1. The tower that I posted, and it's basically depend on the existence of a couple of polygons actually, and each polygon has been controlled by radius, and we was been able to change the value of each polygon at each specific height. That's the highest radius, that's the medium high radius, and each one you change, and it's dramatically gonna change here in Dynamo, and change that forward for you, and allow you actually to see the change straightforward. And it might look very interesting, and that's the basics, one of the basics of the parametric architecture, or as an example of what we call it here, node-based programming or visual programming. So far so good, and it's as long as we able to design lots of, or actually infinite possibilities of shapes by changing a slight number or a slider here, and leave the rest for the computer to find the geometry that we want, or actually the geometry we expect to see or we expect to like. That's beautiful, because we here in the parametric architecture, or node-based or visual programming, whatever you want to call it, we're actually depending on the computer to help us to find the shape and or geometry or the form, the architectural form that we want. But today actually I'm going to talk about a new concept. It's not a new concept, but it's really a lovely concept. We can call it what actually been called the generative design. In this concept, we're gonna have an idea, or the ability to let the computer design for us, or actually find the possibilities of keep changing those values of each radius of each one, or each section of that profile or that geometry that we created. And of course we have to export our work from Dynamo into here. It's a cloud-based service, and it's called Project Fractal. I think it's nurtured by Autodesk, or part of Autodesk in cooperation. And you can see here that that's the same tower actually that we designed. We change here we can change here, as we saw in the beginning of this video, just the refreshment of what we've done, the sizes or the radiuses of each profile. I think it's 5 or 6. But now what about the other possibilities that we didn't experience or we didn't try? So by using Project Fractal, you can see here all those radiuses, or all those profiles, including those are the radiuses for the sections or profiles, horizontal sections here, and also the floor height and the number of floors. I actually fixed them later on. And now it try to find the possibilities and generate each model, each possibility, and try each one of them to show us what are the possibilities of forms that we can find. It's actually as if it's designing for us. So by a single click you can find the geometry here that it's suggested by changing the available available or current parameter. See this one, for example, how it's been changed. It's there is it's actually 2,187 designs. It's been done for us in a couple of minutes by using the Project Fractal software, and you can see there is almost a very wide range of possibilities for you to pick from, instead of doing that manually and try to explore one by one. A very painful process to wait for Dynamo to calculate and see what are the shapes or what are the forms that can possibly be found from this modeling. So instead, just load the Dynamo file into the Project Fractal, and in it I here put stars for those I liked, so I don't need to go back and explore them again and let it generate the geometries. But if you go down, you can see here there is thousands, actually 2,000 possibilities, more than 2,000 possibilities of the form. And by that, it's a very powerful tool that letting the computer actually designing or finding the possible forms, and you just sit back and relax and then say, I want this one and I want this one or this one, and submit that for your client or for your professor if you are a student. And instead of submitting one form, you can submit like 10 of them or 15 of them, and each one of them you like or the client likes, you can just go ahead and download it and export it back to Dynamo, or just have a look of what are the parameter. That's like 110 here for the lower radius, 70 for the mid, and then 70 and so on. So you know and understand, if you go back to Dynamo, what actually you need to feed the system in order to get this. So I just like to show you this a new feature, or actually a beautiful feature. It's available for us to be used, and it's free. All you need to go to the website, and I think you need to use your own IDs that you have. If you don't have IDs like Autodesk IDs, you can go ahead and create one. If you are a student, you can get it for free. Just log in, and they're gonna send you an email probably after a couple of hours and give you a full access to the Project Fractal. I waited like 5 hours until I get access. It's just a regular procedure they do. So first, in order to do that, I'm going to show you that quickly. That's the geometry that we've done, and I also wanted to, before I start with this, it's good idea to remember that we've done that in Revit. So that's Revit, and that's Dynamo for Revit. So if I click on that, if you remember that, that's what we've been doing most of the tutorials in my channel, and it's Dynamo for Revit, and it's a plugin existed actually only, or work only inside the Revit platform. So in it, you might find something different from Autodesk Dynamo Studio. So lots of people actually don't know the existence of two software or two dynamos provided by Autodesk for us. So if you don't have it, just go ahead and go to Autodesk student or student.autodesk actually and download it. And it's a different software here. It's Autodesk Dynamo Studio, and it's just like a pipeline, like a software or standalone engine that actually serve all other platforms, not just Revit, anything else. And one exception that you will not find anything related to Revit here. It's just all the tools. You can find that also in other software. You find Dynamo in other software as a plugin like this one. So this is Dynamo for Revit. So if I open a file here and I navigate down, you find this. See, it's the tools or the nodes related for Revit. It's help us to work Dynamo for Revit. So when we design the tower, the one that I show you, I designed it in this software. So all I've done, I go to Autodesk Dynamo or the Autodesk Dynamo Studio, sorry, and I get rid of everything related to Revit. So there is no adaptive component and nothing related to Revit. It's just a standalone, all basics Dynamo files or nodes. So that's what I wanted also to drag your attention to it, which is there is Autodesk Dynamo Studio, which is a standalone software, and there is something called Dynamo for Revit, which have also similar thing to the Dynamo, this one, but it also have Revit nodes. So I'm not going to use this one, so I'm going to close Revit. So you're going to understand that I'm working totally externally to the Revit itself. You might just open the same or make a save as and open the Dynamo that you did, sorry, the Dynamo file that you did in Revit. Get rid of all things related to Revit, and especially the adaptive component thing, and you ending up by a solid object like that. So that's it. That's what you need. Here you go, file, and then you export to or send to web. Just go ahead and write whatever you want. For example, test number 4 or 5, I don't know. Write a description you like I don't know. Like this. Okay, and then hit publish, and that's it. It's just basically uploading to the server for the website here for the Project Fractal. You must log in here so you can get access to this. Anyway, so now you see this, for example, test number 5. So if you click on it, it's gonna start loading it, and it might need a couple of seconds to generate the geometry, so just be a little bit patient here. Yep, it shouldn't take that much time anyway. No, nothing actually. That's bad, isn't it? Yep. So now that's for test number 3, and it's working. Now what's happening with test number 5? Let's go back again to it. Yep, it's connecting to Dynamo server. That's good. Yep, now we see it. See now that it's actually cloud-based service. It's very fast. It's actually a supercomputer they are providing for us, and we can really get used for it. And that's the form. That's the characteristics of the parameter that we did. And the funny thing, if you see, it's taking 3 possibilities in those sliders. Those sliders actually depending of maximum, minimum value specified here. The minimum and the maximum, so be careful of the ranges you add, because it's going to take 3 steps here, 3 variation within this point, and this point, and so on, this point, and this point, and so on. So if you increase those, the possibilities that it's going to generate 2187. If you push that up, it's going to increase. So don't go happy trigger here and keep clicking. Okay, you're going to end up by having millions, so just be cool with that. For example, floor height, I'll keep it 5. I don't need to, having different possibilities for the floor height, so just uncheck this, keep it 5. See, it's immediately dropped from 2000 to like 700 or something, so just 5. Okay, or just keep it 1, just ignore that, fix it, fix this one to 200 flow, for example, and it's immediately going to drop to 243. That makes sense. That's our first thing, and keep it that on a cross product and just hit generate. Okay, so you see that's immediately that it's going to send the file that you have to the cloud of the Project Fractal, and it keep rendering or making the geometries for you, and it's actually studying the possibilities of each one of them. Each one you just hover above, you're going to see that flashes of what's the possibilities it's been created, and you can also notice that during the generation those sliders just moving, and you can find a different forms has been created for you. The process might take minutes, it might take hours, it might take days. It depends on the complexity of the geometry and how much, how much iteration you actually makes making it. So be careful of what you actually loading into their servers. And so if you just like that, just hit this star here, take a couple of seconds before you see it as a favorite. And let's say that's the first one you liked it, then maybe this, if you click on it, in the normal cases it should show it here. Of course it might delay because it's keep rendering or making the form, so you can just put the star now for it and be happy with the thumbnails. Maybe this one, I don't know, just have a look and you see whatever you like. It's keep modeling it, and sorry, whatever you like you can select it, but currently it's keep modeling the whole thing. Probably this one, I don't know. See, it's keep modeling the whole thing. All the possibilities here, 240 of them. So it might, as again, as I said, it might take really longer time. So I'm just going to stop that and see, as long as I stop it, it's immediately loaded the one that I clicked. I think this one, yeah. So I can click on that and it might take a couple of seconds to generate it here. Yeah, for some reason it's actually delaying. Anyway, by stopping here, it's also giving you the parameter as a pop-up, or you can see here in this how it's actually been the dark line, and you can go ahead and just draw a rectangle and select, for example, only those, and immediately those gonna be showing you only the possibilities that run into 90, 80 down to 70 of those. You can also come again here and make another rectangle. See, they're getting fewer and fewer, and that's also lovely. So you can make the possibilities that just here have 6, so 8, sorry. So what you are just telling the computer or Project Fractal to give me from 100 to 95 in this parameter only, and ignore anything else, not running through that. That's condition number 1. Condition number 2, you want in this parameter from, for example, 82 to whatever this one, and same thing here, you find only 8. So if you don't like that, just click anyways to get rid of it, and you get to this hundreds of possibilities. And also you can navigate from here to go to favorite, which is the one that you selected, which is 4 in my case, or go to creation time, or based on any parameter. By creation time, it's just gonna display the possibilities you want, or you selected by the time they actually been created by the Project Fractal. Anyway, so that's very basic tutorial for you to start your own experience with generative design, not only parametric design or node-based design that we learn in Dynamo, but you have to complete your work and go ahead and try to experience a new world of generative design, a word that actually the computer is designing for you or getting the possibilities for you. See, that's another example from the Snowflake Tower, and you can have lots of other possibilities. And in the form, actually, it's a little bit, I'm still testing in it, so it's still early for you to show you that, but have a look when I said it might end up by million of the possibilities. See, million here, it's 14 million design, or 40 million possibilities. Some of them even are unable to be modeled by the software itself. So when you get this exclamation mark with a red circle, you have to understand that it couldn't design or couldn't form or model that. So just don't go ahead and add all the parameters. Try to select the parameter. Try to be reasonable with the amount of iteration or variation that you're going to have in here, and you're going to get more reasonable amount of time, a more reasonable amount of options so you can select from. I wish that you find that video useful. Thank you very much and have a lovely day. Bye bye.